With him, I'd love to have a brawl for 5 rounds. As he said, him versus Michael Johnson, how he introduced himself to the UFC, I'd love to have a fight like that.
But fuck this up for everybody, and there's gonna be no Paddy and Ilia. I'm gonna do the same thing I did for that fight. And then I'm going to fight Ilia.
Fight night is Paddy versus Justin. First of all, Paddy's got to win that fight against Justin Gaethje. If he does, he becomes the interim champion of the world.
Paddy Pimblett fired a warning at the press conference, snapping the room to attention. The moment he hit the stage, Paddy crackled with menace, eyes locked on Gaethje like a hunter circling prey. He mocked Justin's power, laughed at his bravado, then cut cold and direct. Think you're tough? I'll steal your timing, wreck your legs, drain your fire, and turn this into the easiest night of my life. Step forward, because you're already inside my storm. Justin Gaethje admits it out loud. Paddy Pimblett is a juggernaut, a violent surge of confidence and momentum that threatens to tear him apart piece by piece. Justin talks tactics and discipline, but let's be honest, this isn't just a fight to Paddy. It's a public dismantling waiting to happen. Every hesitation, every slip, every wrong step Justin makes will be answered instantly, brutally. Paddy won't correct mistakes, he'll exploit them, savor them, and punish them without mercy. By the end of the night, Justin may stand there hollow, reduced to a warning story, a battered soul left staring into the lights, trying to understand what just ran him over.
Paddy Pimblett, I mean, this guy's got a ton of momentum, you know, a ton of confidence, and those are two variables that are tough to beat. I'm going to have to really steal that momentum early and stay in my shell. You know, I know this kid's going to be trying to kill me, and I know he's going to make mistakes, so I have to be ready to take advantage of these mistakes and fight a perfect fight. At the highest level, it's who makes mistakes first, and I'm going to need these.
Paddy Pimblett is radiating ruthless confidence, unveiling a savage blueprint designed specifically to break Justin Gaethje. He plans to hunt every opening, chew up Justin's legs with endless, grinding kicks, and punish each careless misstep without hesitation. On the feet, Paddy wants control from the opening seconds, to snap the rhythm and crush belief, and if it hits the canvas, he vows a fast, merciless ending. Justin isn't entering a fight, he's walking into a storm, and Paddy is the hurricane waiting.
Be quite poetic if I end up finishing him with leg kicks, like, which I can see he doesn't really throw his anymore. Stop throwing, I'm gonna damage his calf, and if it does go to the ground, it'll be over even faster. Beat him to the punch on the feet, ruin his legs.
Ilia Topuria's backing of Paddy isn't hollow hype or polite respect. It's belief forged in sharp analysis. He truly thinks Paddy's confidence and ruthless fight IQ can peel apart Gaethje's familiar pressure style layer by layer. UFC insiders remind everyone of Gaethje's feared striking and putting kicks, but they also whisper about Paddy's wild grappling danger, his momentum, and his knack for dragging fights into chaos. This conversation isn't praise, it's calculated psychological warfare, framing Paddy as the real threat while quietly cracking the armor of Justin's veteran swagger as UFC 324 creeps closer.
Justin Gaethje.
Easy.
Wow. Really easy?
Yeah, easy.
Really easy?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a crazy thing to say because Justin Gaethje's a fucking animal.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to grapple. And Paddy knows
But he's
that.
a Division I wrestler. He knows how to grapple. You don't think he knows how to grapple? He just chooses not to. He chooses
I
to
don't
stand
think so.
and fight.
I don't think so. Did you ever saw him submitting someone?
I don't believe he's ever submitted someone, but I think that's because he likes to just crush people. He likes to bang it out and fight. He used to fight.
What
in
everyone
a very...
likes is to dominate people and to win.
Sean Ali leans toward Paddy, but there's no sugarcoating the danger lurking across the cage. Justin Gaethje is a monster, and one mistimed move, one wrong left hook, could shut the lights off instantly. Ali credits Paddy's versatility, calling him a true schemer who can adjust on the fly, punish mistakes, and endure chaos when the storm hits hardest. The message is blunt and chilling. Paddy has several paths to victory, and if Justin dares to underestimate him, he could walk out of that cage battered, disoriented, and wondering how everything slipped away so fast.
I'm kind of leaning towards Paddy. But the way he does get hit with left hooks, he looks so good against Michael Chandler. Paddy's got a lot of ways to win.
He's a scouser.
He's a scouser. Scousers don't get knocked out, you mushroom.
He KO'd Dustin with a head kick too.
Ronaldo Moicano isn't tossing out a casual opinion, he's amplifying the doubts already buzzing through this matchup. Analysts see Gaethje's relentless volume and suffocating output as a threat that could slice straight through Paddy's defenses, but Moicano flips the danger sharply. He insists if Justin doesn't break Paddy early, the momentum will drown him. That's a heavy claim in a fight where Gaethje's grinding leg kicks and layered striking form a tightening trap, a violent web that could just as easily leave Paddy bruised, shaken, and searching for answers under fire.
Tough matchup, you know? Yeah. I think 5 rounds. If this is the common take. Everybody gonna say that, not only me, but if Justin Gaethje doesn't stop him on the beginning, he's going to lose. I think everybody thinks like that. And I think Paddy Pimblett will beat Justin Gaethje.
Paul Felder's praise for Paddy's conditioning and raw strength carries a sharp, dangerous edge beneath it. He sees a younger, hungrier fighter still climbing, still evolving, while quietly suggesting Justin's prime years may already be fading in the rear view. Analysts warn that Gaethje's relentless volume and crushing power will punish even the smallest error. Yet Felder frames Paddy as a man leveling up every outing, sharpening instincts, spotting openings, ready to exploit Gaethje's defensive cracks and weaponize the crowd's roar into a calculated, ruthless tactical demolition.
I don't think Gaethje will do that. Do I think Paddy can win? 100%. I think this kid is doing it right, man. He is constantly seemingly like he's working on his strength and conditioning. He's always looking bigger and stronger every time that we see him inside of that cage.
Chael Sonnen isn't just reminiscing, he's launching pointed shots at Gaethje while forcefully rewriting the story around Paddy. After years of dismissing Paddy as nothing more than a regional name, Sonnen suddenly flips the lens, openly questioning Gaethje's credibility instead. He even stirs unease by revisiting rumors of a possible staph infection that Gaethje publicly denied, hinting that a quiet cover-up could be far more damaging than the illness itself. With careful words, he paints Gaethje as exposed, brittle, and human, while positioning Paddy as the chaotic, unpredictable force primed to rip those weaknesses wide open at UFC 324. This kind of commentary doesn't fade into noise. It piles pressure onto Justin's shoulders, fuels doubt, and throws gasoline on an already raging fire as fight night draws closer.
Can he knock out Paddy the Baddy? I gotta tell you, I don't think... I've got to know Paddy over the years. And before I knew him, when I stereotyped him and painted him with a brush, he was a regional fighter with a funny haircut, and he was pretty good on the mic. And you're going to be able to sell some tickets in the right market.
Den Thomas delivers a brutally honest breakdown, stripping away hype and comfort. He respects Paddy Pimblett's craft, his tools, his growth, but he doesn't dodge the danger waiting across the cage. Justin Gaethje brings a colder, heavier level of violence, relentless striker pressure that can swallow Paddy whole if the Liverpool fighter isn't flawless every second. Analysts underline GA's elite offensive output and stubborn takedown defense, weapons built to punish hesitation. But beneath that armor are cracks, known gaps in his grappling and ground exchanges that elite opponents have exploited before. That's the opening Paddy must chase. If he can drag this fight into chaos, into scrambles, into suffocating control, the night could flip violently in his favor. But if this stays upright and GA starts stacking volume, landing freely, the tide turns fast. Paddy wouldn't just be tested, he'd be in real danger. Terry Thomas isn't speculating, he's exposing a razor-thin stylistic collision where one mistake decides everything.
Paddy Pimblett's crafty. He's a crafty fighter. He's got a very strong skill set. He's not afraid to fight off of his back. He doesn't wrestle all that well, but he uses his length well in terms of his kicks. But I just think the amount of violence that Justin Gaethje brings to the fight is going to be too much for Paddy. I mean, we saw what Paddy did against Jared Gordon, and a lot of people think he lost that fight. And Justin Gaethje is not Jared Gordon. You know what I'm saying?
Dan Hardy weighs in with a razor-sharp tactical warning, cutting straight to the danger. He sees Gaethje as a man who can absolutely impose his will if he hunts Paddy from the opening bell, clamps the cage shut, and denies him any room to breathe. Hardy stresses that forcing tight exchanges is where Gaethje's raw power and striking edge become lethal. Expert breakdowns echo it, pointing out that Gaethje's relentless volume and suffocating pressure are the true threat as long as he keeps this fight standing and smothers Paddy's grappling chains before they start. If Justin settles in, finds his timing, and starts landing early with thudding shots and non-stop forward pressure, he doesn't just win rounds, he crushes momentum. In that scenario, the noise around Paddy's unorthodox rise doesn't grow louder. It dies abruptly under heavy hands and closing walls.
Look, I think Gaethje can absolutely get it done, you know, and the ways that I've explained is, in my mind, the best way for him to do it, to close the cage down. And even if it takes a couple of rounds for Paddy to kind of overmove himself a little bit, if Gaethje's patient and he finds his opportunity, we know that he can knock anybody out.
Beneil Dariush injects a cold, analytical twist into the chaos. He points out that Gaethje hasn't truly been tested by elite-level grapplers throughout his FC career outside of Nurmagomedov or Oliveira, and that reality matters here. Paddy's unpredictable ground game isn't noise, it's a genuine problem if he manufactures real takedown moments. Yes, pundits respect Gaethje's takedown defense and his ability to scramble back to his feet, but the deeper dive exposes something else. His submission offense lacks polish, his ground control isn't world-class, and those are openings a clever, opportunistic grappler can rip open. Dariush's perspective feeds directly into the growing narrative. Justin is violent, dangerous, and capable of wrecking anyone standing in front of him. But Paddy's unorthodox grappling isn't standard danger. It's a wild card. And if Gaethje can't keep him planted on the feet, that chaos could flip this fight on its head and turn belief into a full-blown upset.
Yeah, I would probably do the same, just because if you look at Justin's fights, he's never really fought good grapplers and performed well. I'm trying to think if he's fought like grapplers, but he hasn't really. Besides Habib and Charles, he's never fought really good grapplers. So I could see why they would put him as an underdog. He's older. Yeah, I mean, I get.
Colby Singleton doesn't dress it up or soften the truth. Justin Gaethje is still a savage, relentless dog, the kind who will empty the tank and hurl everything he has at Paddy Pimblett until someone breaks. Singleton ups the tension by warning this could be Justin's final stand if he loses, a do-or-die moment that piles crushing pressure onto the veteran's shoulders. Paddy's pattern is clear: control the wrestling, drag fights to the mat, threaten submissions, then open space for strikes, but Singleton hints this night may not follow a script. Justin's raw power, scar tissue, and hard-earned experience could push Paddy into unfamiliar territory, forcing him to fight fires he's never faced before. While some pundits casually hand this matchup to Paddy like a gift, Singleton paints a darker picture. This isn't charity, it's danger. Justin can still detonate without warning, turning calm into chaos, and if that happens, Paddy won't just be fighting to win. He'll be fighting to survive a high-stakes war that can flip in a heartbeat.
You know, I think Justin's still a tough dog, and he's going to come out there and give his all, and he doesn't want to lose this fight. This could be his last fight if he loses. So, you know, I think he's going to put Paddy to the test, and, you know, Paddy, you know, usually has to control the wrestling aspect, put guys to the ground to get his submission and to get his striking game working. So, you know, I don't know. Justin's shot on one hand, they're trying to give him an easy win on a silver platter to Paddy to build.
Dan Hooker pushes back hard on the idea that Paddy is the clear favorite, cutting straight through their hype. He points to Gaethje's sharp, disciplined takedown defense and openly questions whether Paddy has truly been tested by elite fighters still in their prime. Hooker frames this matchup as a massive opportunity, but makes it clear nothing about it will be gifted. Paddy will have to think, adjust, mix levels, and change looks on the fly if he wants to survive. Justin is still a seasoned, violent operator, a man who punishes lapses instantly and thrives when opponents crack under pressure. Hooker underlines that this isn't just physical, it's a tactical and mental examination designed to expose weaknesses. One bad decision, one emotional swing, and the fight tilts violently. This analysis drags the narrative into high-stakes territory, making it clear the outcome hangs on Paddy's composure when the pressure peaks and the chaos closes in.
Do you agree that Paddy Pimblett with Paddy Pimblett being the favorite against Justin Gaethje?
Nah, I don't think he's the favorite. I wouldn't have him. Gaethje's takedown defense is pretty sharp. I don't see him. I don't know. Like, we just haven't seen like Paddy in there get in there that often and mix it up with the best guys in their prime. So it's a big opportunity for him, but we'll see. He's smart.
Justin Gaethje openly admits his bracing for a fight fueled by raw aggression and hunger from Paddy. He compares it to wars with past opponents like Michael Johnson, expecting moments where he could get clipped or rocked, but he leans heavily on his grit, stubborn durability, and years of hard-earned experience to carry him through the chaos. Justin's plan is simple but unforgiving: weather Paddy's early storm, stay calm while the crowd erupts, and strike back the moment cracks appear. Beneath their words, the interview exposes a deeper mental chess match. Both men project confidence, but but Justin quietly signals he won't drown in the noise or fold under hype-driven pressure. He's been here before, felt worse, survived worse. That tension sets the stage for a savage, high-intensity collision where endurance, timing, and psychological control could matter more than flash. This won't just be about who hits harder early, but who can think clearly when exhaustion sets in and the fight turns ugly, testing resolve, patience, and mental toughness deep into the night.
Paddy's, with his aggression and his hunger, I think it's going to be same as every other Michael Johnson type fight where I might get rocked a couple times, but my grit and tenacity and will to win is going to, overcome. So I'd rather, he wants both bonuses. That's the difference between age. Now I just want one bonus, performance of the night.
Luke Thomas dissects the matchup with cold, clinical precision, but the danger bleeds through every stat. Paddy pours on high-volume offense and usually walks away with a positive striking differential, while Gaethje's numbers tell a harsher story in the opposite direction. Thomas frames it as a timeless collision, striker versus grappler, chaos versus control. Paddy can find success on the feet, touch, move, and create angles, but the margin is razor-thin. One perfectly timed shot from Justin doesn't just score, it can end the fight outright or violently rewrite Paddy's entire game plan in seconds. Analysts stress how fragile the balance really is. Paddy's speed, creativity, and rhythm may grant him a narrow edge, but Justin's raw power, suffocating pressure, and ever-present knockout threat hang over every exchange like a loaded weapon. Thomas underlines that nothing here is forgiving. Timing must be perfect, precision must be sharp, and resilience must be unquestionable. In this fight, one mistake isn't a setback, it's a potential ending.
Paddy has a pretty high strikes landed per minute and a positive differential, which is always great, and whereas Gaethje has the opposite of that. He does not. That stands out. I mean, this is not super complicated to break down for the most part. It's striker versus grappler. Now, like any modern striker versus grappler fight, Paddy does have an opportunity on the feet in certain respects, but it just seems like if he catches a big one that might end it, or at a bare minimum just changes.
Max Holloway cuts through the noise with brutal clarity. This fight isn't about Ilia Topuria or fantasy matchups, it's Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, and there's nothing easy waiting inside that cage. Holloway warns that Justin is a living nightmare to face, a relentless machine who feeds on mistakes and refuses to give opponents a second to breathe. He calls out fans who are sleeping on Paddy, saying it's reckless to dismiss him, because Justin's crushing striking power combined with a sharp, battle-tested fight IQ creates danger in every second. Analysts echo the warning. Paddy brings pace, creativity, swagger, and unpredictable grappling that can flip situations instantly, but Justin counters with scars, experience, suffocating volume, and a proven ability to finish fights when momentum shifts. This isn't hype, it's a collision of identities. Youth versus war miles. Flash versus punishment. Momentum versus survival. Every exchange carries consequence, every choice matters, and one tiny miscalculation can violently swing control into Justin's hands. For Paddy, the margin is terrifyingly small. His path to victory isn't wide or forgiving, it's razor-thin, carved between chaos and catastrophe, where one wrong step could erase everything in an instant.
Ilia or Paddy? I mean, the fight not happening. It's Justin or Paddy now. Paddy gotta get past Justin. Justin's a tough fight, bro. I don't know. A lot of people sleeping on Justin on the Paddy fight, which just makes me ridiculous.
Behind the playful grin and flashy persona, Paddy Pimblett hides a far more dangerous reality than many are willing to admit. Analysts point to his sneaky reach, sharp precision kicks, calm composure, and patient decision-making inside the cage, tools that can quietly dismantle even elite strikers if underestimated. But standing across from him is Justin Gaethje, a completely different kind of threat, a powerhouse, a relentless forward marcher, a hardened veteran who can end a fight with one violent exchange. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Paddy thrives on unpredictability, timing, and clever grappling traps, while Justin operates on raw aggression, pressure, and devastating knockout power. Experts admit that if money were on the line, most would still lean toward Justin as the interim champion, the proven force built for chaos. Yet that confidence comes with hesitation. Paddy's rapid evolution, awkward rhythms, and refusal to follow expectations make him a legitimate danger, the kind that can flip narratives overnight. This isn't just another matchup. It's a high-stakes collision of styles, nerve, and strategy, where resilience will be tested, adjustments will be forced, and one perfectly timed moment could send shockwaves through the entire MMA world.
Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is, because of his haircut and the way he talks. And when I fought him, he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there. But Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilia.
Eddie Alvarez breaks it down like a true insider, exposing the brutal chess match quietly forming beneath the violence. He explains that Justin Gaethje's entire approach is built on suffocating volume, relentless pressure, and vicious leg kicks meant to steal Paddy Pimblett's movement piece by piece. Alvarez doesn't sugarcoat the danger, pointing out that while Paddy is slick in scrambles and dangerous in transitions, his habit of taking risks and making small mistakes leaves openings for Justin's fight-ending power. Analysts back the warning completely. Gaethje's sharp precision and non-stop forward march create danger every second he's standing in the cage, turning space into a trap. But Alvarez also reveals Paddy's hidden edge, his adaptability, fast decision-making, an uncanny ability to flip chaotic scrambles into sudden submissions or punishing counters. That's what makes this fight volatile. It's a collision of extremes. Gaethje's raw, violent force crashing forward versus Paddy's calculated, unpredictable craft fighting angles and moments. There's no room for comfort here. One slip, one mistimed strike, one unchecked leg kick can instantly decide everything, making every exchange feel like a loaded trigger waiting to be pulled.
I think the key to the fight for Gaethje is just to create a lot of volume against someone like Paddy, like a lot of volume. The leg kick's going to be everything to take away Paddy's lead leg to stop the onslaught. But Paddy makes a lot of mistakes, right? So he's susceptible to getting knocked out. But he's great in the scrambles, amazing at scrambles, and also amazing at creating them. If Justin had a weakness, if I said, hey, Justin, we want to attack him here, make sure, it would be his jiu-jitsu.
This fight is boiling toward an explosion, a volatile collision of Paddy's sharp craft and wild unpredictability crashing into Justin's raw power and relentless aggression. One question hangs heavy in the air. Who truly owns the cage when the door shuts? Blink and you'll miss it. This isn't background noise, it's chaos in motion. Subscribe, hit the bell, and lock in now to witness every punch, every kick, every desperate submission attempt unfold live as the showdown ignites and everything finally collides.